everyone. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for coming. We're here to talk a little Blue Jay basketball and stuff like that. So we had just a little recap. We had one game last week. We have one game this week. So a little, I like it. I don't know if our players like it too much, but coaches kind of consider practices our games for the most part. So I don't mind our scheduling, getting to practice 4 days for every one game that we have this past week and this week. But where were we? Well, last week we went to Blue Springs on Thursday and beat them. They were previously undefeated, so a quality win there. We can talk about that game. And then we have an upcoming game this Friday here at Coakley Fieldhouse against Lee Summit, a really good basketball team too. So number of games, not too many, but we still have a lot to talk about. So I'll open it up to the floor at this time. Yes?
Seeing Lee Summit play in the past, what are you focusing on working with your team to be able to tackle some of their strengths?
Well, Lee Summit is a really good ball club. They're well coached. They've got a lot of talented players, particularly the one that a lot of people know is Drew Locke, who's going to MU he could play 5 or 6 sports, in my opinion. He's a very, very talented athlete, but he's going there to play a little bit of football, and I think he'll have an excellent career, but he's an awesome basketball player too. So we've got to have it, and we will have a very good defensive game plan for him, but he's got some very good ball players around him too that we're going to have to stop. They're good athletically. They can excellent ball handlers, very good passers. They play well in space, and so we've got a tough task defensively to guard all their talent and stuff. And they're pretty good defensively too. So on the offensive end, when we have the ball, we've got it's not going to be easy for us. So what we've got to do is one thing that happened last week was we had 18 turnovers. We got to cut down on our turnovers. And take better care of the basketball. When we get more shots and fewer turnovers, that's going to help our chances. So we've got to do a better job with that. Yes?
So obviously last week was a big overtime win. You talk a little bit about that game and kind of the course of the game.
Last week we go to Blue Springs, a team that we had lost to in the semifinals of the Jewel tournament the week prior. By 14, we did not play very well at all, in my opinion. It was from coaching on down to playing was at fault. So we had a little bit different game plan. We needed to, especially offensively. And so we did a few different things offensively that I think helped us out a lot. But primarily, it was just our guys' mindset. We had a really good attitude going in. They were 9-0, undefeated, very, very good team. The plan was and the goal was to give them their first loss of the season. And quick recap of the game. We did not get off to a good start. We got down 7 or 9 points, but we clawed back at the end of the first to tie it up 11-11, which was a good sign. And then we win the second quarter by 10 points. So we're up 10 at halftime, and we actually stretched the lead in the second half up to 14. But they are so good. They're very long and very quick, good athletes, and that caused us some problems. Offensively, one of the reasons why we had 18 turnovers, I mentioned that earlier, and then they started knocking down some unbelievable shots, and they forced it into overtime. They take a 2-point lead in the first possession of overtime, but then I think Joe Kinder had probably the biggest shot of the game. We're down 2. This is our first deficit since early in the first quarter, and he comes back and hits a 3. So now we're up 1. And that was our only field goal of overtime. We go on to make 13 of 16 free throws to win it. But it's a good game for us. Guys played well. Mentality was good. Jalen Lewis had a really nice game with 22 points and going 10 for 10 from the foul line too. But it always helps when we have 4 guys in double figures like we had that game too. So hopefully we can carry that Blue Springs momentum into Lee Summit this Friday. Isaiah.
So speaking of that, congratulations on the win, by the way.
Thank you.
We'd also say you're gonna carry, or you think that you can carry this mentality from the prior game that you just won at Blue Springs over to Lee Summit, and how that's gonna carry over to practice and to the game coming up here?
Exactly. That's a great question. Because there are 8 days between our games. We played Blue Springs on Thursday and last Thursday, and we don't play again until this Friday. So how do you carry that? Well, it starts in practice, like you said, and I think I've said this before. Our guys take a lot of pride in their work individually and collectively as a team, and not just in games, but in practices too. I think we had one bad practice this year, has been it. And, we didn't play particularly well that next day in competition. So we make that connection between preparation and performance. So our guys are committed. They understand the link between, hard work and being successful, and they're not afraid of it. So we've got to get better. And one of the two things that we talked to them about yesterday, we got to cut down on our turnovers, and we got to score more in the paint, and be a little bit more balanced inside and outside. But we're coming along nicely. I like where we're at, just mentally, physically. We're getting more healthy, and so those things you want to continue to carry over from 1 week to the next, and we think that we can do that. Getting ready for Lee Summit. Yes.
So since you've had a couple home games and then a couple away games, how do you think your boys perform during
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's always tougher to play on the road, particularly because we have such an awesome home environment here at Coakley with our student body, and it's just awesome playing here. However, with that being said, it's years. Looking back at last week, it's interesting that Blue Springs plays us really well here, and we seem to play really well at their place. So I don't know what it is, but it's been like that for quite a while actually. And so, but it's nice that we're going to be back at Coakley here. It's not too much of adjustment. In fact, our next 5 games are here at Coakley. If you consider our home game Friday, and then 3 games with the Stessman tournament beginning next week, and then we come back the following week. I believe that's against Park Hill, okay, on the 27th, I think. My dates might be wrong, but yeah, we've got a nice stretch here at Coakley, and that's always nice too. Yes.
So obviously we're starting to kind of dwindle down and starting to get into the kick of the conference season. What can you say where you most looking forward to coming into the conference season, even though it's not for another little bit?
We had a minor problem in the back. That would be counted as another turnover, I think, in the back there, if anyone heard that noise, or I don't know what that was. But anyway, good question about conference. First of all, I love how it's set up. It's set up like a college schedule, and where preseason, our mid-season tournaments, okay, all of our non-conference games are early in the middle of the season, and then conferences at the very end. So, going back 3 or 4 years ago, we'd come home from, a preseason tournament, excuse me, on the road, and we'd come back and play Lee Summit North, which was in our conference. So, it was difficult. Now it's all in order and it's set up really nicely, and we're looking forward to it. So it's going to be a challenge, that's for sure. Other questions in the back? Yes, Mr. Strauss.
Could you just talk about new teams that are coming into the Stessman tournament?
Teams coming into the Stessman? Well, it's a loaded field to begin with. We're going to open up with Center, which is going to be a tough challenge for us. We'll play the winner or the loser of Rockhurst and St. Joe Lafayette, and then. There's some really, really good teams on the bottom side of the bracket too. Columbia Hickman, Lee Summit North. Okay, it's going to be St. Joe Central's in it too and stuff, and Raytown. So that's our field of 8. It's going to be a challenge, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be 4 great games each night, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So we are looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun and exciting time. So I think we are out of time. So thank you for attending today. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you next week. Go Jays!